Welcome to the SEDL Season 6, Week 4 against Carnage Man and the New York Aqua Jets. As you can see, nothing today. My OBS crashed right after the fight, so I have no recordings. Instead, I'll talk you through the battle. This is based on my memory, so it might not be 100% accurate, but the match was so intense from both sides that I wanted to explain it regardless. I started with Gulpin against Apom. Since my opponent didn't have any hazard removal except Carcoal, I just clicked Toxic Spikes, while Apom U-turned out. He switched into Vartrel and used Hurricane, while I set up a second layer of T-Spikes. The Hurricane did slightly more than 50%, so I switched into my max special defense Porygon with Evilite to tank the Hurricane like a boss. He then switched into Crocodile. I went to Couladin, he went to Carcoal, I went to Panphy, a bit of a chip here and there, but nothing special. The T-Spikes were eventually gone, but both Carcoal and Crocodile were badly poisoned. After some switch shenanigans, he switched back into Crocodile, while I brought in Couladin. But he didn't attack, he just clicked Dragon Dance. It was a bold move, it paid off because he landed the critical hit with Ice Fang against Couladin, who went down. That was a huge problem because Couladin was my only real answer to Crocodile, especially after Dragon Dance. While the poison had nearly finished off Crocodile, I needed to survive one last turn. However, none of my remaining Pokémon could take another hit. I sacrificed Panphy to Liquidation just to get a safe switch, and Crocodile crumbled to the poison. I brought Gulpin back in and she responded with Carcoal. Gulpin has already done its job, so let it go down to an Earth power, but Carcoal died to poison damage in return. At this point, Carnage Man had 4 Pokemon left, and I had 3. I switched into Sora, disguised as Porygon, but it was full health and didn't trigger download, so it was obviously Sora. He brought in Apom. Fearing a knockoff that would OHKO Sora, I switched into Torracat. The knockoff landed and removed my heavy-duty boots, which was fine. From here on, it all came down to who played better. Apom had the potential to sweep the remaining team, but Torracat could also clean up his side. After a few technical switches, Tinkertink, Vartrel, Porygon, Apom, Torracat, everyone was low HP. But Porygon had Recover, but also was too slow to use it without dying. Eventually, Tinkertink went down to Torracat, but only to provide a safe switch for Apom. My Porygon was now too low to tank a hit, but I needed it for Vartrel and as a potential check to Solos. I switched into Zora, which couldn't take the knockoff, and fainted. This gave me a free switch into Torracat, which could survive an attack from Apom thanks to the Intimidate drop. He switched out into Vartrel, which died to a Flabitz. Carnage Man sent in Soulses. This was the deciding moment. If I U-turn out, Porygon dies to Souls. If I stay in and use Flabitz, Apom finishes off both of my remaining Pokemon. If I had Crunch, he might have survived due to Terra Dark and killed Torracat. But my opponent didn't expect me to click Leech Life. It did great damage and hit me significantly thanks to that recovery, I was able to take a hit from Apom, and with a final fairness, secured our first win of the season. Crocona. Ganz einfach. Ganz einfach. Crocona.